Hi, I'm Natalie, and today we're going to be talking about space. Have you ever thought about how far away the moon is, or the sun, or how long is our galaxy? To understand how far is far when it comes to space, we should talk about distance on our home planet, Earth. Let's assume that I want to drive along the equator. The equator is an imaginary line we draw around the Earth that is right in the middle, giving us an equal distance between the North and the South poles. It divides the Earth into the northern and southern hemispheres. We call that line 0 degrees latitude. Now, if we take that Earth and make it flat, you can see that equator line better, and it gives us an imaginary road we can drive on. That road is nearly 25,000 miles, 24,901 miles to be exact. Let's say we have a car that can drive around the world on that equator nonstop. Now we have that super duper car on the equator, our imaginary road. We do not need to worry about gas. Also, we packed our car with lots of food and drink, so we don't have to stop. And we have our best friends in the car with us. Oh, what about the bathroom? Inside the car, don't have to stop. So, in our super car on our super road with our super friends, how long will it take us to go around the Earth? I'm going to drive at a safe speed of 65 miles per hour. How long will it take us? It will take us 16 days straight. So, what if they developed a new sports car with a new highway that was able to drive 4 times faster than 65 miles per hour? So, 260 miles per hour. Maybe it's a Porsche or a new Tesla. So how long would it take us to cover that same distance of almost 25,000 miles? It would take 4 days. Well, what if I had a super train that would go the speed of light? How fast is the speed of light first? It's about 186,000 miles per second, or 229 million meters per second. If we went the speed of light, we would go around the Earth in less than 1 second, 0.134 seconds to be exact. Less than 1 second is so fast, we would barely blink and we would be on the other side of the Earth. In 1 second, we could go around the Earth 7 times on our super train. Also, did you know that in 1 second, 4,000 stars are born, or that 1,000 stars explode and die? Did you know that every second, 4 babies are born on Earth? Or that every second, 20,000 Cokes are sold on Earth? Did you know that in 1 second, 4,700 YouTube videos are watched? Now let's head to the moon. Let's drive up into outer space in our car using that same exact speed of 65 miles per hour. We will drive on our virtual road to the moon, and we are not going to worry about friction or solar radiation or lack of oxygen. How long would that take us? Before we begin our journey, we need to know the distance from the Earth to the moon, which is about 25,000 miles. That is 10 times the length we went around going around the Earth. If we take 25,000 and divide it by 65 miles per hour, we get 3,846 hours. If we take that and divide it by 24 hours, which is a day, we get 160 days. Yes, that would be 160 days of driving at 65 miles per hour to get to the moon. Did you know that the moon is the nearest celestial object to our planet? When we visited the moon in 1969, it took over 4 days to get there using the rocket ship named Apollo 11. The computer on Apollo 11 was the most powerful device during that time. But can you believe that we've advanced so much in technology that the current iPhones are more powerful than that computer on Apollo 11? Another interesting fact about that first moon landing is the American flag, which was planted during that mission, was knocked over by the rocket taking off. Oh well, we were able to plant some more flags on the moon during the following 5 missions, which took place between 1968 and 1972. We haven't been on the surface of the moon since '72, but a new team of astronauts will be heading to the moon as part of the Artemis mission. NASA will land the first woman and first person of color on the moon in 2025. We are planning to establish a long-term presence on the moon soon after. So, when we take our car to the moon, we can stop at Starbucks for our moon mocha. Now, let's talk about how far away the sun is from the Earth. The sun looks about the same size as the moon when we look at it, but that is because the sun is so much bigger and is very far away. The moon is smaller and closer, which is why they both look the same size. The Earth is so much smaller than the sun. You could fit 1.3 million Earths in the sun. That is one big sun. And it's very far away. The sun is 92,960,000 miles away from Earth and about 93 million miles. If we take our car, still going at 65 miles per hour, we will get to the sun in about 60,000 days, or 163 years. The longest living human being to ever be recorded was 122. Even they would not have made it to the sun in our supercar. When you get to space, the distance between planets and stars is so large, we find it easier to measure with a different unit other than miles. The unit we will use is called an astronomical unit, sometimes abbreviated as AU, which represents 93 million miles. The AU is defined this way because it is the average distance between the Earth and the sun. Now let's measure the objects in our solar system. The distance between the planets isn't to scale, but the size of the planets are to scale. We know that the Earth is 1 AU. Mercury is the closest to the sun at 0.38 AU, which is about 36 million miles from the sun. Now here's an interesting question. What's the hottest planet in our solar system? You might think Mercury is the hottest, but no, it's Venus. Venus is hotter not because of distance, but because of its atmosphere. The planets in our solar system are affected by their distance from the sun and the inner workings of the planet. Mars is on the other side of us and is 1.5 AU from the sun. Jupiter sits at 5.8 AU, and the other planets outside of Jupiter grow significantly in distance. Saturn is 9.5 AU from the sun, which is nearly double the distance of Jupiter. Neptune is 30 AU from the sun and is about 2.8 billion miles. If we look at our entire solar system, the distance spans about 60 AU, which is 5.6 billion miles. To drive across that entire distance with our 65 mile per hour supercar would take almost 10,000 years to cover that distance. If we think about 10,000 years in relation to our history on Earth, we would be in the early days of human civilization. Also, when we think about distance, we must consider orbits, which vary depending on the location of the planet in an orbit. In this image, you can see the orbits of each planet and how the movement can change based on their distance from the sun. That is why we typically take an average number when defining distance. Now let's journey out into the stars beyond our solar system. First, we need to cover another unit of measurement called the light year. We aren't talking about Buzz Lightyear, but a space distance called a light year. We covered in astronomical units because it is easier to measure distance between objects in our solar system. But once you get out of our solar system, the AU is too small. So we used a larger one called the light year. A light year might sound like it's a period of time, but it's not. It's a way of measuring distance. A light year is the distance light travels in a year. But to get to a year, let's start with a second. Light travels 186,000 miles per second. So how far could light travel in a minute? It would be 186,000 times 60 seconds, giving us 11,186,000 miles. Then we take 1 light minute times 60 minutes, then 1 light hour times 24 to give us 1 light day. Lastly, I take the light days times 165 to give us about 6 trillion miles. If we get in our supercar to go 1 light year, it would take us over 10 million years. So let's apply light years to the measure the distance from the Earth to the sun. That would be 8 light minutes away. It takes 8 minutes for the light to get to us from the sun. So if the sun suddenly disappeared, we wouldn't know it for 8 minutes. And as we look at the other planets, stars, and space objects, the light from those faraway objects is light from the past. Let's talk about the closest star to Earth that is outside of our solar system. That is Proxima, and it is 4 light years away from Earth. The light we see from Proxima was the light from 4 years ago, because it took us that long to see something that far away. I want to expand our distance a bit further. When you look up at the night sky, you see many dots, stars, planets, and objects. How many stars do you think there are in a 10 light-year radius of the Earth? So many, right? No, just 11 stars. Here are just a few of the stars and a couple you can see with your naked eye. But these are all pretty easy to see with a good telescope. So we live in a pretty quiet neighborhood of the sky. But we do live in the larger community called the Milky Way, which is our own galaxy. The Earth is 26,000 light years from the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And now, you might be asking how wide this galaxy is that we live in. Well, if we go from the center to the furthest edge, it's about 120,000 light years. But wait, we aren't the only galaxy. Our neighboring galaxy is the Spiral Galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years away from Earth. And there are many more galaxies outside of that, which gives us the observable universe. There are more stars and planets in the observable universe than we can comprehend. That's why we call it the observable universe, because there's more out there than we can observe. But for fun, let's see how long of a drive it would be to go across our observable universe. One last drive. The observable universe is 93 billion light years, which is a lot of miles. If we convert that into our travel time, it would be 960 quadrillion years traveling in a car. Well, I hope you have a great playlist for that long drive. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Now please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the STEMinism YouTube channel. Have a great day. Bye.